Hello and welcome, YouTube. Today's a whole new day and a whole another day to work on one of my projects. Today, it's a really exciting one, and I'm pretty excited for it myself. So here is the project we are working on right now. This is my 96 F-350 XLT with the 7.3 diesel engine. And I got a couple of videos out about this already. So you can learn about how I got this and why I got it and where this thing is going as far as the plans. But if you've been following along, you know this is the King Ranch tribute truck that we're building right here. So, big news update. Here's the new motor I got. This is a crate motor with about 100,000 miles on it that I got from my buddy. Actually the same people who originally took the transmission and transfer case and everything else, and they took all those parts off of this. Apparently they got taken off because my buddy had gotten in an accident and it had cracked the transmission housing and the transfer case, and that's why they got taken out. So this is a crate motor out of one of his 7.3s, not the guy I bought it from, but the guy that took the transmission and transfer case out. This is one of his motors that came out of his truck because he's doing a Cummins build on a 97 250 that looks just like this. So he said, hey, I know you got old boy's truck, and how would you like to buy this crate engine, a transmission, transfer case, and everything else out of my truck instead of having to build up yours? And I was like, what do you want for it? And he gave me a pretty good price on it. And I tell you what, I damn near stole this thing. I damn near stole this thing. I mean, I pretty much did steal it. So I got a motor, a tranny, a transfer case, 2 drive shafts, 2 computers, an entire wiring harness, and a whole bunch of crap to get this thing together. So that's where we're going right now with this. This is a crate motor that he bought, he said, about 5 years ago. And when he bought it, it had about 40,000 miles on it, and then he said he's put about probably 60,000 miles on it since then, because the truck he put it in wasn't really being used. It kind of was just like a work truck, and his job is only like 3 miles up the road. So it's got about 100,000 miles on it over the last, I think he said they bought it in 05. He bought it, or the guy he bought it from bought it in 05. So we're gonna slip this thing in here, and I'm gonna try to put the whole thing in, transmission and all, and then we'll put the transfer case on later. But here is the engine, and you can see the front main seal's leaking on this. I don't see, the good thing, the oil cooler is not leaking. He said the power and steering pump's probably gonna have to be replaced because that's probably gonna, he said it's having problems already. That is not leaking, thank God. So, but you know how the 7.3 is, man, these things leak no matter what. So I'm not even gonna bother taking this apart to even fix any of these leaks. I'm just gonna leave them like they are and check on the oil all the time. Ain't no reason, because this engine's not gonna stay in here permanently. This is not gonna be the permanent engine. Now here is the transfer case. As you can see here, there's the transfer case. Here is the radiator container, and that's actually came off that blue truck originally. He took it off that blue truck and put it on his truck, and now that he don't need that engine no more, he gave it back to me. Here are the 2 drive shafts out of his truck. Even though I have a rear drive shaft already, what I don't have is a front drive shaft. And I have computers and everything in my truck here, which is a mess right now. But there's the 2 computers. So the reason that engine is not the permanent engine is because this is the original engine that came out of that truck, and it's not in bad shape. There's not a lot wrong with it, and everything that is going on with it is really minor. It's not really anything big. This engine is still going to be rebuilt and be built up to be that 400 horse engine I want it to be. Build it up, and we're going to head stud it. All new injectors. We're gonna put T4, T3 turbo on it. I mean, we're gonna do this all the way better all the way around. Adrenaline, high pressure oil pump. So it's gonna be better all the way around. It's gonna be better designed all the way around. We're gonna do aftermarket oil coolers. But this engine will be going back in that truck eventually, just not now. For the moment, this engine's going to stay out. When I have the time and the money, this engine will be built and turned into the 7.3 engine I really wanted. Now, that other engine will be in there temporarily and will probably be in there for about a year or two before this engine gets finished. But once this engine is finished, this engine will be going into that truck over there, and from there we will continue on with that. This thing also did get a bath and got pressure washed up, as you can see, because there was about 1 inch of grease on this thing. So there was I'd say about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of oil and grease and everything else that was just on top of this frame, on top of all that. You couldn't even see the curvature in any of the metal there. All that was built up, gummed up. Everything on here was built up and gummed up, and this thing was just absolutely atrocious. All the stuff that was built up on the lines, you couldn't even tell that there were lines in there. And especially on the front of this axle here. This axle, you couldn't even tell where the bolts were on the front of the pan there. It was pretty bad. And you would know that. You watch the other videos, man, and you just know that this thing was bad. This thing was really bad. But I've got 90% of it off now, so at least it's cleaner. So we get under here and work and put this engine in. It's not going to be perfect for now, but I ain't worried about it being perfect for now. I'm just worried about it being tolerable or cleaned up a little bit, so that we can at least get this thing running, driving, and on the road here pretty soon. Because as soon as I get this thing in and running, the next thing we're going to do is start buying all the body panels. We got our fenders, our front clip, our hood, our grill, our lights, all new doors, a whole new bed, tailgate, and then once all that's together, we'll get a really, we'll see. We might get the really nice paint job on it. I'm going to do the two-tone King Ranch color, so we might do the paint job on it right away, or we might not, and we might just go get a Mako $500 paint job for temporary and just paint it, I don't know, black or something temporarily until we get it finished and are really ready to be finished. So might just go get a cheap Mako paint job, pay them like $500, $1,000 real quick, to throw a really quick glossy black coat on it and call it good. Don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Because I still have to do, oh, here's another thing. I might not have talked about this yet. Those axles are not staying underneath it anymore. I am now going to 05 Super Duty axles because I'm going to coil spring this. And I found a company who makes the buckets and makes all the shock mounts and all that to do it, because I could do it on my own and just rip buckets off of like an 05 to 16 F-350 and do it and fab it all up myself, or I can get these really nice ones that they already sell that come with the mount, so you can mount inside the coil spring, so technically it becomes a coil over. And that's kind of more what I want to do, because it'll have the external one on the outside, and then it has a second shock going through the center like a coil over for the inside. So instead of just doing the single shocks on the front, I'm going to do double shocks. Probably going to do Fox, or we're going to do, I have no idea, we'll see. We'll probably do Fox shocks. We're going to do the 05 Super Duty axle swap. We get the coilovers. Not only one, will it ride even better than the reverse shackle lift. Two, I get a way better turning radius than I do because of leaf springs. So I'll get a really tight turning radius and all that. With that being said as well, that means that steering box will come off and we'll put on a Super Duty steering box. And in the rear, we'll go to an 05 Super Duty rear axle, which I know they don't change very much. And if there is any change at all, I think it goes from 10.25 sterling to a 10.5 sterling, which I don't think that there is much difference in them. But what that will do is, from that same company that makes the reverse shackle kit, they make a Super Duty rear axle leaf spring swap. So what you do is you take off all these old brackets and bust the old rivets off real quick with an acetylene torch or whatever. Then you use those same holes that they have here, and they sell you a whole new kit and new hangers and all that to put in Super Duty, the new Super Duty leaf springs in the rear, and you put those in, and then you got pretty much all your suspension is now the newer Super Duty style, anywhere from, I think it's like 05 till 2016, I believe. You get the better rear end, better springs, heavier dutier springs. They got a lot more travel. They can handle a lot more weight. So pretty much make this truck stronger suspension wise all the way around. And that's what we'll go to for this. So the other great attribute to switching to Super Duty axles is, if you know anything about these trucks, that's an old lug pattern. So I think that's like 8 by, I can't remember off the top of my head. But this is more of a standard lug, what can be considered a standard lug pattern. What with the 05 Super Duty axles, they'd be going to a metric, which is 8 by 170, I believe. And by doing that, I get a lot more wheel choice for what if I want to put different wheels on, because my wheel choice is quite limited on this truck. It's usually go to something like this, or go to the original aluminum rims, or go to something very custom that you have get cut out. With 8 over 170, you're getting something that they pretty much make wheels for all over the place, because I believe Dodge, and I could be wrong, but I believe it's Dodge and Ford are both 8 by 170, and they make hundreds of different kinds of wheels and stuff like that. They're a lot cheaper to get, and you get a lot more different styles you can choose from. So more than likely, that's where we'll be going. We'll be going to an 8 by 170 and changing these out to the 05 Super Duty axles. You get a lot better ride in the front, get a lot better turning radius, because this thing is freaking a bazillion feet long, especially with an 8-foot bed on the back. So you get a lot better turning radius, and you get more wheel choices. So that'll be nice. We'll get there eventually. All right, about an hour later, it's dark outside. Just started getting dark here about 15-20 minutes ago, but we got it sitting in. Engine's in. Boy, it took a hell of a bit of fighting to get over the oil pan, but we got it in. There was a pinhole on the front of it, on the front of that oil pan, where my buddy had cut the cross member out of the truck. He took it out of, and it put just the tiniest pinhole in it, so I had to patch it up with the welder real quick. And then now we got the engine in, and this truck hasn't probably had an engine in it in 7 months. What do you say, Jacob? 7 months? 8 months?
7.5.
Yeah, I'd say it's about 7 or 8 months this truck hasn't had an engine in it. So it's actually probably like 9 months. It's been 9 months since this truck has had a motor in it. It's been sitting. So 9 months this truck has had no motor in it, and now it's got a motor in it. And it's a good thing I got those computers from my buddy, because you probably won't be able to hear this. But listen. There's water in that one, so that thing ain't no good to begin with. But I bought on Amazon 120 pack fuses. So, ooh, I got the jack handle there holding the transmission up. So I got the computer for inside there, all the fuses to go in that. I got that computer, and I got a TS chip, 6-position TS chip that I'm sticking here. And man, it's in. I'm so happy to see that I finally got an engine in this thing. Me and Jacob been fighting like hell for the last hour to get this thing in, but I tell you what, it wasn't as hard to get this thing in as it was to get the other one out, because the other time I didn't use a chain across the tree. I did it with this, and I ended up putting cinder blocks underneath that to keep this up in the air just enough so I could jack it up and then pull the truck out from behind it once I got everything out of the way. And that took forever, because I had fighting that turbo sitting on top of the engine so much to get it high enough over the oil pan, or to get the oil pan high enough over the cross member down here. We fought the turbo a little bit to get this in, but once he got underneath it and pretty much bench pressed the transmission the first time, it slid past the cross member, and then we put the jack underneath it and got the jack jacked up underneath the transmission, just for now, until he gets done tightening in this and bolting this in, and then we'll take the weight off that And then I got the transmission cross member in the barn somewhere, and we'll put the transmission cross member in, and we'll set the transmission on correctly. We'll stick the transfer case on. I'm going to take off the old drive shaft here and put the drive shaft I got from him on, because that one's it's a perfect balanced drive shaft. It's like an $800 drive shaft he gave me. That I pretty much got for free. But yeah, I'm gonna put that new drive shaft in here, and we'll connect that to the back of the transfer case. I'll connect the front drive shaft to the front of this, to the front axle, to the back of the differential, and it won't be good. From there, I just got to buy some wiring. I had to get some new fenders first and a new front clip, and then I got to get some new wires for battery cables. Gotta get some new battery cables, and then 2 new batteries, or 2 used batteries I can find somewhere, and we can have this thing running. Put the new computers in, and this thing will be running. So I figure it's going to cost me about $1,200 for all the body panel stuff I need, which includes 2 fenders with no dents, a front clip that's in good condition, a hood, and a bed, and 4 doors. Which, even though I'm buying 4 doors, I might not put the 4th door on just yet, because yet again, like I said in my other video, this one isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Those are pretty much the only 2 dents in it, and there's a slight bit of a dent and impression here. But this door opens and closes perfectly, and you don't got to slam it like a lot of these old trucks. Look at that. Closes perfectly. So I might not put that door on just yet. And honestly, I might not put any doors on it, because if I'm going to get it painted, I'm going to send it there with the bed unbolted and no fenders on it. Or I might take the fender, I don't know. Might just leave the fenders in the front clip and just have them paint it like that. So really quick black over it or something like that, and call it good. But she looks good. She looks good. It's good to see that there's finally an engine back in there. It's good to see, for the first time I've seen, other than when it was running and my buddy was driving it around. Since I've bought it, it'll have has a transmission in it for the first time since I've owned it. And it'll have a transfer case in it since the first time I've owned it, and a front drive shaft in it since the first time I've owned it. So she's in good shape, and she looks good. And the transmission's in. I still got to take that bag off the transmission. I had a bag on the transmission to try to keep it relatively clean, but
well, we had that big rain yesterday.
yeah, we had a pretty good rain yesterday, so I had some bags that come with zip ties set for them, so you can just bag and zip tie, bag and zip tie. I got one on the back of the turbo yet still. Probably gonna leave that on. I'm gonna leave them on there until I get finished here. Then I'll have to, I don't know. I want to buy a new radiator, but we will see, and I'll show you what's going on. So here is the old radiator, and I don't think anything was wrong with it, really. It's obviously very filthy and kind of dirty. I don't think anything's wrong with it, but I kind of wanted to put a better radiator in it. There's a company, I can't remember off the top of my head, that makes a really good, I think it's Mishimoto or something like that. But they make a really good, nice radiator, and they make really nice transmission coolers too. Because the original transmission cooler, you know, that little Mickey Mouse piece of crap. Well, this was an aftermarket my buddy put on it. And it's a pretty decent little transmission cooler. But Mishimoto makes one that's even bigger than this. And since this thing will do a lot of towing, now this is going to be my dedicated tow truck now. So since this thing will do a lot of towing, we're definitely going to put a bigger transmission cooler on it. And I don't know, I still haven't decided if I'm going to go to electric cooling fans and just ditch this old clutch fan or what. I think we're going to ditch the old clutch fan, because I could take the old clutch fan off my motor, but I don't think that's what we're going to do. I think I'm just going to leave that off, and we're going to go to electric clutch fans, because that'd be better. You just put some, hook them up to your heating and cooling system. A lot of them you can buy with the auto set system computers, you know, all that mess. So I think that's what we will do, and I just won't throw away this old fan. I'll still keep it in case I ever need it, but I won't. And it's still pretty good too. It's a pretty good clutch fan, so we won't throw that away. These are stage 2 injectors, and I thought about pulling these out, or I think these are stage 2 injectors, but I don't know what the percentage is on them, and he can't pull any of that information up for me. He don't know anymore. But I don't know what stage injectors these are. He said they're stage 2. I was thinking about taking them out and putting them in that, but I'm not gonna screw with it. You know, it's a good running 7.3 engine. I'll put the video up real quick here when I had it running. 2 days before he pulled it out for me. Well, I kind of helped him, so we were in there pulling it out together, but I had it running 2 days before we pulled it out together. So it's a good running engine. I know it runs. It hasn't run in like a week now, so I don't think that there should be any reason why this thing won't run in the next week or two when I have everything ready for it. Did you get him, son? Hell yeah. As redneck as it gets, son. You ain't redneck unless you're hanging motors from the tree. Getting her done, son. A new, or at least new to me, crate motor. 7.3 crate motor, about 100,000 miles on her. 100 to 150,000 on it, yeah. So it's still technically damn near a brand new engine. Now like I said, we got a front main seal leak here. Or oil pan leak. Look at the size of the mosquitoes out here. Bigger than dogs.
They've tried to carry me a couple times.
Yeah. Everything's here. We'll get this down tomorrow. We'll put the transmission after work. I'll get here with Jacob and we'll take the transmission cross member out and put that in. And put the transfer case on and get the rest of this finished. Get everything put back together. We'll get the drive shafts on. But I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm hoping this really comes together. And probably in the next, I'd say, month or so, this thing will be driving. Absolutely, this thing will be driving. On the road, driving around. Might not have a bed on it, but it'll be driving around. Might still have some screwed up doors, but it'll be driving around. Still gotta hook up all the I still also have to hook up all the transmission cables and transfer case linkage and all that kind of crap. These are all the headlight wires laying right there. That's the old engine harness wires, but I don't need this because he just unplugged his. See, I didn't do that. I unplugged all this because I was going to go through it and try to fix some of it, because some of them are kind of, they don't look exactly the best. So, but this one, he didn't do that. He just unplugged it and sent it off with the motor. This one did not, like I said, because I'm going to go through this and fix it. The wires are getting old, they're dry rotting, some of the clips are cracked, and we'll just go through this, make it all fixed, look good and look new again. So hopefully we'll actually put this in right about now. That'll be good enough. But I think I'm gonna hook the engine into this one tonight, and we're gonna call it a night. Me and Jake are gonna go get showers, and we're gonna call it a night, because I don't feel like doing this no more tonight. It's getting too dark, and the mosquitoes are out like swarms, and they're pretty much carrying us away. So we're done for a night over here. I'd say that'd be about it.